here we are at Ek Balam in Yucatan. We've just had a wonderful conversation with some local Maya people and other Nican Tlaca from other areas. And hopefully you'll be able to see those videos also. And we've talked about Nican Tlaca throughout the whole continent. Saludos to our people throughout the whole continent. To our warriors who are out in Arizona confronting the evils of white supremacy. Saludos to our people that we've been working with in London who are doing great work out there, great courage, great knowledge out there. And we want to share with you the beauty of this place. With this, you'll see other stills and videos of Ek Balam. It's a newly reconstructed site. It's only been available really in the last 15 years. So I finally got around to coming to this site, and there's so much beauty. We're at the very top of the Teucali here, and you'll see some video of the rest of the place. And our friends and our Nican Tlaca brothers and sisters in London wanted us to talk a little bit about our people who are forced to flee our lands. Like we have people who flee here in Yucatan and they go to the U.S. and they're in New York, they're out in Canada, or they're out in London or in Paris because they're either political refugees or they're economic refugees. And my message to all of them is we're all one people. It doesn't matter where we are. It's most important that we're on our own continent and we see ourselves for the reality that we're one people. We're Nican Tlaca of Anahuac, the north with Anahuac and the culture of Anahuac, and in the south with Tahuantinsuyu and the culture of Tahuantinsuyu. But we're all one people, united as Anahuac, as Nican Tlaca people. And that's something that we got to get into our heads. I was talking to a local Maya who speaks Maya Yucateco, and he was talking about, yeah, I speak Maya, yeah, but we don't know anything about our so-called religion. We don't know anything about gods. We barely speak our Mayan language properly, but we know nothing about who we are. We're ignorant. But then you can say the same thing for our people in East LA or our people in Bogota or La Paz, throughout the whole continent. So remember, it's not about where you're at, where you've been forced to move. It's that we are one people, and what's going to strengthen us is knowledge of who we are as a people, taking pride in the accomplishments of our people and our civilizations that are more ancient than Europeans, more ancient than Egyptian, and that have contributed so much to the well-being of the humanity, the people of this planet. And you can see a little bit of this. We'll do a nice pan of this beautiful location. Our people who had the genius to walk into a jungle and to say, here we will build our city. Here we will plan this building. Here we will educate our people. Here we will strengthen our people. Here is where we're planning to make our people sophisticated, having great knowledge and great connection to our Creator. And that's why you have, in essence, really artificial mountains created out of the genius of our people. So, to all of our people, you got to see more than just the buildings. You have to see that this is the heart and the flesh of who we are. You have to see not just the past, but the future of our people. And we are standing on what is our land, and we're standing on the foundations of the future of our people. But it has to be a future where we're liberated from the Europeans, where we're decolonized, and where we plan for a great future for our people. Okay. All right, we had a really interesting day here at Ek Balam. And while we were climbing the Teucali right behind us, and Nelliolo got to the top and he met some really interesting people. One is a local Maya who speaks Maya Yucateco, and then another gentleman also from Tabasco and another one from Jalisco. and we got into really good conversations with them. But at the very beginning, Neliolo started the conversations. I was still climbing the Teocalli that you see behind us. And tell us a little bit about kind of how did you start the conversation? How did that work?
Well, pretty much I saw him sitting down, and I guess the curiosity of someone he around here. So I started talking to him as far as our Teocallis, mentioning how beautiful it is, and mentioning a little bit more of the biggest Teocalli that we know is called La Danta, which is in Guatemala. And from there we started talking, and basically talking about how we don't appreciate our culture, and how we think this whole mestizaje idea. And it turns out the gentleman from Jalisco, he started talking about how basically how we've been trained to think that we appreciate the whole Spanish element, the whole colonialist element, the whole rape in us, and that's how we started hitting it off and talking about. I mean, we actually had a great, interesting conversation. It's almost a very rare conversation, actually. And from there, we started, getting into more detail. We must have talked about maybe about an hour, maybe an hour or more.
All together, about an hour.
And the whole point is that the gentleman who's full almost Mayan, full-blooded Nican Tlaca, he's going into more detail. We start asking him more about what he's been told, that as knowing that he speaks Mayan Yucatec, and basically asking him questions, asking him, hey, what did they what do you know? What did your grandparents teach you? What are the certain words or certain things that as far as him being more connected to being being that he speaks Mayan. But basically it turns out that a lot of the stuff is pretty much what we've been told in just in Spanish. Our people were basically destroyed. Even when our people do speak Mayan, when our people are more connected with the language, we know the same ignorant things, except in Mayan. And what did you understand?
Yeah. Well, I was talking to him actually about a Zapoteco friend that we have, and what he says, yeah, we speak Zapotec, but we say the same stupid, ignorant things that our people say in Spanish, and no, we don't know anything about our ancestors and our religion or the gods. And the same thing with this young man who's a Maya speaker and who's local from this area, and whose family's been involved in the reconstruction of this site. And he basically says, I don't know anything about the history. I don't know anything about the gods other than what I've read in books or what I've been told. And then, then becomes clear, this whole gods thing is nonsense. This whole thing about, that they're surviving Mayan priests and all of that New Age nonsense, which basically that's what we're here also to document. The fact that we've been thoroughly destroyed as a people, because we were talking about, are there any Mayan centers where they're working to reconstruct the Maya? In context of a warrior society, in context of confronting colonialism, in context of planning for liberation in the future of even the Mayan people. Forget about Nican Tlaca as a whole, but there is zero going on. Just teaching our people the language accomplishes nothing. Because if we learn our history and our accomplishments and the pride of who we are, that's more important even if we learn it in Chinese. It's not about the languages. Yes, we should preserve our languages, but the knowledge is much more important. And so we made this really good contact, and we talked a bit of this, and we recorded some kind of ad hoc, last-minute recording, as far as, this conversation. So you'll get little snippets of that conversation. The audio quality won't be probably as good because it was kind of last minute, so we weren't really prepared for it. But we wanted it to be a natural conversation without interrupting or making them uncomfortable. But we got one of the gentlemen, the local Maya, to speak a little bit, a few phrases in the Maya Yucatec language, and some very interesting conversations in which we'll be sharing with you.
Here in Ek Balam, there's a cenote, and it's like about a mile from the actual archaeological site. You have to go on. I took a bicycle, but when you get there, it's el cenote. It's unbelievable, amazing, and now I see why there's this whole fascination, especially with the New Agers, because this is almost unbelievable. It's blue green water. It's deep down. Just to get to the bottom of the water, they have a stairwell made out of wood, and it's probably about 50 feet down to hit the water, and another 40 feet deep. There's fish floating around. You can't go in with any chemicals on your body. You have to wash before you get in the water. But I see where this whole fascination of it over this whole New Age stuff, where it's this idea of this ¿cómo se dirá? Sacredness, ¿cómo le dicen?
Sacredness and this
energy stuff,
and, yeah.
because it is spectacular. It is moving, and so anyways, you could actually go in the water, and you know, if you think about it, it's almost like a sacred thing. This should be like almost like where when we reconstruct ourselves as a people, where our people were to go in and come in as a pilgrimage here, and only the ones that are the designated people, the ones that have the study, the ones that have earned, could actually go into the cenote. This should be the sacredness of stuff that we reconstruct. What do you think, Olin?
Yeah, no, keep on going. But it's also the fact that you have a sacred geographical area, the terrain, the cenote, and that's why our people picked Ek Balam, to be a center for all these rituals and ceremonies. Because when you look into the city, it's nothing but rituals and ceremony, which is very unlike any other site. You can see Mayapan. It's basically kind of an astronomical site. You can go to Tula. It's basically a military site. You go to Palenque. It's basically a university site. And this, it's focused on the rituals and ceremonies associated with the cenote, associated with the sky and the earth, and that's kind of the foundation of what Ek Balam is all about.